Hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm Katia. So glad you could be here with me. So today we are going to start with our 3-minute mindful moment challenge. Are you ready? Get set, go. Maybe starting with a nice big full breath. If you would like, looking around the room, noticing what is around you. Eventually connecting yourselves to this space, noticing what parts of the feet make contact with the floor, inviting those parts of the feet to get heavy, to ground, accepting that support beneath us, noticing what parts of the body make contact with the floor or the support beneath us. Beginning to shift our attention inward. Maybe we notice thoughts. Maybe we're ready to focus on the breath. If we're ready, beginning to slow the breath down, inviting that big full inhale, expanding in all directions like a balloon. Slowly releasing every last whisper of air. Following the breath, or at least noticing if you're able to follow the breath. Maybe we're able to stay focused for the in-breath. And then we get lost in thoughts on the out breath. No problem. Let's try again. Let's see if we can focus on that in breath and the out breath all the way out. Noticing the shoulders maybe get heavy with that exhale. Or maybe we notice that quiet pause at the end of the exhale. Maybe we're noticing the way the body moves with the breath, or the air flowing in and out. Maybe we can hear kind of a whisper on the exhale. And releasing our practice, gently opening the eyes if they were closed. All right, how did it go? Get any better? Easier? I don't know. Well, one of the reasons that we practice when we're not triggered, like in this environment, right? Maybe we're triggered. Maybe we had a stressful time before this and we're working on it. But I really invite people to find a time during the day to practice every day if possible, or maybe it's, maybe we start with one day a week and we grow from there. I always say, let's meet ourselves right where we are. So if I can do 1 minute today, that is a great place to start. Maybe tomorrow I also do a minute, and maybe in a week or 2 weeks or a month, I'm ready to go up to 2 minutes. Right. And I really think that it's helpful, at least for me and a lot of people that I've talked to do it at the same time every day, like maybe right before bed or in the morning when you wake up, or maybe it's at lunch before you go to take a bite, like just a quiet noticing. And then noticing, it reminds me of a game trail, like when deer, elk, animals go back and forth on that same trail through the forest. where it's worn, right? They don't go off into the bushes and find a new trail every time. They go on that same one. Can you guess why they do that same one? Because it's easier. It's worn in. They've already done it, right? So we're doing that same thing in the brain. We're trying to build that pathway in the brain, practicing over and over, right? And practice helps us get better at things. So when we are triggered or there's stress or that guard dog lights up, the amygdala, our brain remembers, oh, I have a place to go to help me feel calm, to help me feel safe so that I can problem solve and process what would be the best for me, right? Rather than that. I love to think about it as responding instead of reacting. That guard dog is the reaction. We're not doing anything wrong if we're having a reaction. That's something for me has taken me a long time to understand. I always thought that I was too emotional or doing something wrong. And once I finally started, being gentle and kind with myself and knowing that, and I learned like that's just a natural reaction in the brain. I have the power to pause, and to maybe take a deep breath. Maybe I look at something and distract me from what is triggering me. Maybe I listen to something, right? There's all sorts of different tools that we can use. We can also, we call it mindful sensing. We can use our smell. So maybe if you have a lotion or something, or maybe your clothes smell like something that's calming and you're like triggered or feeling scared or nervous, whatever, maybe just like smelling clothes could be helpful. Maybe not. Taste is another one. Really encourage y'all to do mindful eating when you're eating, or share this with your families. Just notice, slowly take that bite. I think they say to chew like 20 times or something before we swallow. That might not even be, I can't remember the number, but chew a lot before we swallow rather than just shoveling it in and then we don't even notice. Like if we take a moment to appreciate where the food came from, the earth, the people, the resources, right? And how it got to our tables, like who prepared it. And like the animals or the plants involved, and all of that is a mindfulness practice that brings us to the actual tasting. If we slow down, there's so many more flavors that are available to us, and so much more enjoyment that we could have out of that meal, and it's so much better for our digestion if we're slowing down. We talked a little about the stress response in the body and what happens when we're stressed, right? All sorts of headaches, upset stomach, sweating, all these things can happen. And what also happens is that our digestion slows, because if we're stressed, typically we aren't eating, right? This is like back in like cave people days when there were saber-toothed tigers chasing us, right? That's just, you're triggered, that amygdala is triggered. So when we feel calm, our digestion improves. So healthy for us, okay? Let's see. So for today, I wanted to talk a little bit about kindness before we move into our practice, our yoga practice. So kindness is another way for us to practice mindfulness. It's doing something nice for someone else. So we can really focus on this gesture of doing something nice. And it's really important in the world today that we grow and foster kindness, saying kind things to each other, kind things to ourselves. And so it's a way to grow empathy and compassion for others. And one fun way that I like to practice this, it's way more fun when we're in person, but I'm hoping that you all have fun with it, is the monkey face game. And so monkeys will sometimes mimic each other's faces, or maybe if you've been at the zoo or you have noticed this. But so let's talk about emotions and facial expressions. And so if you would play this monkey face game with me. So I'm going to say an emotion, and then I would invite you to make it on your face. So wish I could see your faces. Well, we do the best we can with what we have. So the first one, let's do happy. Okay, happy. right? Where our smile, the curves of the mouth are turned up. Like sometimes we show our teeth, sometimes not. Our, our eyes are kind of lifted, we're looking for these cues in each other that we're happy, right? What about when we're sad? Right? Like the mouth is turned down. Can't really see my eyebrows very well, but like my eyes are turned down. Sad, right? So we're looking for these cues from others when we're near them and noticing if there's any way that we can support them. Sometimes like saying, "What's wrong with you?" That's not a helpful way, right? We could say, are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help? Sometimes a lot of people just want their own space. So when they're having that face, we might say like, um, is there anything I can do to help? Are you feeling okay? And if they say no, it's not personal. We just give them their space, right? But it's very important that if someone is having that like sad, or what about mad? What's mad look like? Right? Like the furrowed eyebrows, right? And the tight jaw, mad, right? Um, so if someone is in that like sad or mad kind of emotion, like kind of being all in their face and being loud is not helpful, right? Like we try and think about how we would want to be treated if we were feeling that way. Because a lot of times, like if we're modeling, if we're teaching others, a lot of times it will come back to us. So we really want to be putting out there what we would like to receive. Okay. Okay, so let's do a little practice. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to do a body scan. Um, this is a very restful practice, and it's just a way for us to get to know our bodies a little bit more. So basically just taking a longer rest today. So feel free to get comfortable, come to your spot, and laying on our back belly or side. You come to lay all the way down. You can also do this seated. I just really invite you to get comfortable. Taking a big breath or two. All right. So we're just really going to focus on the body and notice whatever there is to notice here. So we start with the top of the head, kind of bringing our attention to our hair. See if you can move your attention there. Maybe you're like, I don't even know where the top of my head is. Feel free to touch it so that you can bring your attention there. And then let go of the touch and see if you can stay with your attention there. And then just moving our attention to our whole head, back of the head, inviting the brain to relax into the skull. Maybe we scrunch up our eyes for a moment and relax. And the full face and relax. This can be it's a tense and release. It can be a good practice before bed if you're having a hard time falling asleep. And then we'll bring our attention to the arms, the hands. We'll make fists. Tighten up both arms. Tight, tight, tight. And then relax. Inviting our arms to get very heavy. And bringing our attention to our hands that reach out into the world and connect us to another human or to other people. It's what we embrace the world with, our arms and our hands. Maybe taking a moment for gratitude there. Thanking our arms for doing such a good job. Sometimes we can even use the arms to give ourselves a hug, right? Or hugging others. And then bringing our attention to our hearts, the front and the back of the heart. Maybe we've had heartache Maybe we've been hurt in our hearts or stabbed in the back, knowing that we're not alone here. Inviting ourselves to let go. We cannot control others. The only thing we can control is ourselves and our reactions, our responses to the world around us. And bringing our attention to our tummy, tight, tight, tight tummy, and relax. And our tummy or our stomachs lives our gut, right? And our gut can tell us a lot, just like our heart. We can listen to our guts and our hearts, and they can guide us. The brain also likes to guide us, so it's important to listen to these other minds in the body and see how they feel. And then bringing our attention to our legs and our feet. Tight, tight, tight. Tighten your feet, scrunch up your toes. Tight buns, tight legs, and release, letting the legs get heavy, the feet get heavy. Just resting here for a moment. Inviting ourselves to let everything go. And when you're ready, gently beginning to wake the body back up. Stretching the arms out long, legs out long, lengthening fingertips to toes, releasing, rolling over to one side when you're ready. Coming all the way up to sit. And we'll come to say thank you. Today, we will say thank you in Japanese, which is arigato. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you all well. Arigato. Take good care, everyone. Bye.